And you're from, sir?
I'm from Wind Energy Development. We build wind turbines. We're in the process of building a lot of solar right now in the state. That's what people are looking for. They're not looking for wind turbines. There's a lot of citing from different towns that wind turbines will never be built on with this legislation. But what we're doing different, and I heard that young farmers we're going to talk about, and I talked to Ken Ayers and campaign, Johnny, young farmers. These solar arrays have a lot of area around them that can be used. We're discussing a program, maybe donating some of that area to some young farmers to use. The other thing we're looking at, when you look at a solar array of 10 megawatts, it's 40 acres. We just cleared 10 acres on site today that's solar. So we're working really hard. My daughter Rachel is working really hard on different things that we can do with the farmers underneath the panels. We met with a racking company the other day that builds the actual solar arrays and talking about what they're doing out west and dairy farmers raising the solar array up a little higher so you can raise animals, goats, sheep, cows. So there's different people you talk about the dairy farmers. They are really, really struggling in the state. You're going to lose a lot of them. If you take what they can pick up in revenue for the solar array, graze their cows underneath the solar array, they can be sustainable. And then at the same time, with the legislation that passed last year, you have a 10 megawatt solar array, it's $50,000 for taxes to the town. So it will complement a lot of these sites. Underlying taxes is the farm. We're going to try to keep the underlying taxes of the land because it's farming. We're looking at, I'm working with Jim Pagarini. We're discussing different things that we can grow, mushrooms, short shrubs. So instead of covering the state and looking at, we talk what the governor's initiative is, 1,000 megawatts. Well, that's 4,000 acres we're going to clear cut and take away from the farmers. So it's important that we work together to preserve. When a gentleman says split off the farm, the solar array needs to stay with the farm because that's their revenue to run it. But there are a lot of ways that we're researching right now to give some of these young farmers an opportunity to grow crops on the outside of these arrays, which have big setbacks. Give the farmers the opportunity to bring revenue in. If you look at what Mr. Stamp gets for an acre of corn and what he gets for an acre of a solar array, it's very difficult to wonder why these older farmers are going out. It's because they truly believe in what they have. But when you sit with a farmer that can bring in $350,000 a year for a solar array, or go and fight to make $80,000 a year in corn, we got to compliment those people, and we need to work together with them to keep the farms here. That's all I like to say. And we are looking to work with everybody in the cities, leagues, and towns. I think there's a happy medium, and I think once people understand the siting, it's very difficult for all these towns to understand it. So we go every night. Last night we had 8 people out to different committees in different towns. We're educating everybody. I agree the governor's office and DEM, which we have been talking with DEM and OER, we need to come together because we need to educate one group that can really permit these projects and take everybody's considerations in to make sure it's done right. But it's a hard task for an individual zoning board and a council to really understand a wind turbine or a solar array when you're working on it and what's going to happen in the future. That is it.
Okay. Are there any questions from Mr. DePasquale? So you developed these particular things? Are there any questions?
We've built 15 turbines in Rhode Island so far. We're working on 200 megawatts of solar.
So what about the decommissioning part of it? So
decommissioning bonds are excellent.
The bonding and all this stuff.
Absolutely. You definitely want to look at
the farmer in the end.
Yeah.
Part too.
Yeah. You want to look at the wind turbines and the wind turbines that have been improved in other towns. There's a bonding program. There's money that can be put away. The other thing is we did when we took Portsmouth's turbine down, we actually did a study and we came out with revenue because of the copper in the turbine and the steel and the scrap, and scrap is at the lowest. But there's definitely something that can be worked for bonding to secure that the developer takes it away. The only problem is you can't purchase a bond today to decommission something for 20 years from now. So what the other towns have been doing is putting a slush fund away to decommission, or put a bond up, put some money away for every year, and then in year 10, you can receive your money back and you can get a bond to decommission in year 10. But you definitely want the developer to be responsible for decommissioning, and all the turbines that, Portsmouth Turbine, North Kingstown, the 10 in Coventry, they all have programs with the town to decommission them after, and they're done.
And you might have the right person to ask, but if you have a farm and they put a solar array in, and whoever the developer is, and then they stop paying the farmer, what recourse will they have? Or have you dealt with this in the past?
Well, the farmer's gonna make sure that there's a lot of leases out there. They really need to pay attention to their lease. The assets are very expensive. If you look at a solar array on some of these farms, there's $6-7 million, so there's a lot of financing there. So you really want to make sure that the people that they're doing business with are sustainable. There's a lot of tax incentives that are going away a little bit of time. So you really want to pay attention to the lease amount, who's financing the project, where's the power going. Prime example, Bay Commission, we run 3 turbines in Coventry. Very, very comfortable. Their lease is going to come because the Bay Commission is virtual net metering that project. So they're going to be there every year to make sure the payments are on. A lot of the virtual net metering, a lot of the programs that are on the farms will actually go to the virtual net metering. For the state agencies, West Warwick, virtual net meters, Pawtucket, Coventry. So those are really the people. So now it's more of the municipality that's paying the farmers. If you talk with Mrs. Capwell, she calls me every month. She has 2 turbines sitting in Coventry, and Bay Commission's check is there the same day every single month. So that's kind of the security, who is the off-taker and who's the developer.
That's a good one, I guess. Okay. Well, thank you very much. And again, any other questions from Mr. DePasquale?
Thank you.
You're
I have one quick one.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay, thank you very much. Let me ask you something. If you look at the Department of Labor, they've identified renewable energy as a bright outlook for future jobs. So I'm wondering if your organization or any of the companies that you represent have done anything to outreach to municipalities to do some type of internships. Not everyone's going to college. It might be an opportunity for getting some of the just violence. I'm assuming you've done this before. Could you talk a little bit about this, please?
Well, there's a few things we do in each town. Any developer is a little bit different, and it depends about the town and the town manager. There are a lot of incentives that are given to the town. One of them is for there's multiple ones out there. When we go into a town, we hire within that town, and bring young people that are in the town and employees when you're looking for it. And there are people who are installing these big solar arrays. You try to bring people in that area. The other thing that's happening in certain towns, happening in Johnston, Warwick, is money was put aside for a scholarship fund. It's $100,000, $200,000 that the developers are coming up front, giving a scholarship fund that for science and for renewables. So it's up to the town to use that scholarship fund appropriately. But there is a lot of jobs. If you look at a solar array takes, with an 8-man crew, takes a week alone per megawatt just to drive the coast in. When you start looking at the amount of men that are we're building a turbine in Otis, Mass. Right now, and there's 25 people tying steel every 2 weeks. So the renewable energy that's growing in the state will create a lot more jobs. But an internship is a nice way to add to it. A lot of the schools are coming to our locations and having field trips. And the Boy Scouts, the Eagle Scouts are doing a lot of programs. So there is a lot. We do a lot of outreach with them. So it really depends on the individual developer.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And